remember asking you a goddamn thing.
That's how you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late, they cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll tolerate it.
The flow insane, take my spot, so the range, shoot my shot with perfect aim, 3rd degree, that perfect flame, ain't no sleep, that's the game, oh so southern, that's the slang, when they see me, that's the main, chasing checks and fly like planes, big old stick, I bought a cane, flick my wrist and bought the ring, I'm so boss, we're not the same, paid the cost and kept the change, now I'm walking Hall of Fame, and I reside in the cloud, grand wishes, with these bitches, taking pictures with the crowd, and I'm out.
Yo. What up? Peace and blessings. Happy Monday to the good people. I hope all is well with everybody. Shout outs. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. I hope your Monday started off the way that you wanted it to. It's my poets, my writers, my content creators, my authors, my dancers, all of y'all. Much love to you. I thank you. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate your feedback, all that good stuff. Yes, you see the title. Yes, we are here. Yes, we got to talk about it. We got to have a conversation. And I'm humbled to be here. I see Rob is in the studio. We'll bring bro up. Do me a solid like, share, repost, hype. Let the people know that we are on. We about to get.
How dare you?
You know the vibe. Let's get this show on the road. I got a clip I want to play for y'all. Chef, what up? Let me go ahead and bring bro up here. What's the word?
Yeah, what's goody? Man,
Blessings.
little technical difficulties, but I'm here though.
Hey, I always got technical difficulties. I don't even be mean. It just be happening. Sometimes my stuff be on mute, and I don't know it's on mute. Sometimes my mic switch off to something else. But I'm glad you're here, bro. I'm glad you're in good spirits. Happy related birthday to the fam again. You know what I'm saying? That's a blessing, bro. Congratulations. I see Sid is in the studio as well. Let me bring her up, and we'll get this show rolling. Hold on a minute. Good evening. Good evening.
No, you're in my living room today because I forgot I brought my laptop downstairs yesterday, and yeah. So, hello everyone. What was your news, Rob? I missed that part.
Oh, my grandma turned 96 yesterday.
Woo! Good for her.
Still taking it, still driving.
Let's go. She's probably super sharp.
Very.
That's awesome. Well, congrats.
Thank you.
I'm doing pretty good. My kid is starting his second week of school. And so far, he actually seems like he likes it, which I'm really happy about because I homeschooled him for preschool, so I was worried he wouldn't handle it very well going to the classroom setting. But he loves his teacher, and he also really enjoys the toys. So he's handling it pretty decently, and was actually asking when he gets to go back to school over the weekend. So, like, so that stress is not as stressful as I had expected.
That's good. That's good. I had all the confidence in the world that that transition would go well because y'all seem to be pretty like tight knit and thorough over there with the way y'all communicate. And yeah, that's dope though. That's definitely dope. Let's get to this clip. Diddy has been pushing and pushing and pushing for the last few months to get out sooner. And it looked like it was working. It looked like he was about to reach the promised land. And then this happens.
Diddy is going to get hemmed up for Tupac's murder. Did you guys hear about this? Check this out.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. We are following new developments in the case of the hip-hop mogul who is facing RICO charges in New York, Sean P. Diddy Combs. Court TV has just confirmed that the family of Tupac Shakur is investigating a potential link between the murder of Tupac and Sean Diddy Combs. This coming from attorney Alex Spiro, who represents Tupac's family. Now, this investigation had been previously reported by unnamed sources, but earlier today, Spiro confirmed to our Court TV team that he and a team of investigators has been hired. Sean Combs allegedly had business dealings with Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who will go on trial next March for the murder of Tupac. This was back in 1996. Some have speculated that Diddy ordered Tupac's death. That, of course, is just a theory at this point, and we are monitoring the developments in both the Tupac murder trial and the federal indictment of Sean Diddy Combs. So a lot of information to come on that one.
We all know Diddy did this, but hiring an investigator with the people that do actually have the information, especially considering homeboy's already locked up. I knew once they caught Diddy was going to go down for Tupac's unaliving and possibly Biggie's. I think Tupac and Kim Porter, it's going to be solved. I'm pretty sure. Diddy is going to get hemmed up for Tupac's murder. Did you guys hear?
I know we've all been at a table or two with this for years talking about this. And we hear again, but this time it sounds like the way that this is going, there might be some light on that whole cold case. So initial thoughts to open it up.
I know a small amount about Tupac's murder just because it's shown up on the list before of like unsolved mysteries, unsolved murders that I've read before. But I don't know enough about the relationship to say whether or not I think he did it or not. But just knowing what I know about Diddy and the things that he's already done, I would not be surprised if he was involved in something like this. It seems like he is more comfortable in the criminal areas than not. But again, I don't really know everything about him. But it would definitely be very interesting because I know this has been a pretty popular mystery for a long time. like his death is up there with like Princess Diana and stuff like that for deaths that have a lot of speculation around them. Like I've heard some crazy stories about like explanations for Tupac's death. I forgot which celebrities it was, but I remember hearing one theory that Tupac and a couple other celebrities that were supposedly dead were actually like hiding out in an island somewhere and were like living it up in some like exotic destination because of something or other. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting if we actually have a closure to this. Although I imagine just with the notoriety of the case, I imagine that there's still going to be conspiracy theories that are floating around, even if they do get a conviction. So we're definitely going to hear a lot about this in coming months because I still remember how often I think it was the Michael Jackson trials. I remember as a kid, I was very frustrated with how often it was showing up on the news because it would like interrupt my shows and stuff at the time. But I can imagine that this is going to be in the news cycle for a while, especially if he is found guilty.
I think I saw a clip a while ago where old boy said that he was going to tell on everybody if they come at him. What's his name? Keefy D, whatever. And my conspiracy theory is that both of them wanted to leave. Pac wanted to leave Death Row, and Big wanted to leave and start the Commission, which he would have been the head of the label. And I feel like once they started that separation, then they got unalived because the money they was making. It's like, you know, I'd rather kill you than let you leave because you make me too much money. That's my theory. I'm also with Chef for saying why now, because at the end of the day, there was a lot of people outside sitting in the traffic, walking the strip. I know they said it was like on a little off block or whatever, but at the same time, all of there was no cameras, no nothing to not know nothing. And then at the same time too, we know that the police didn't like them either. So to a certain extent, they might have helped them out. You know what I mean? Because those guys, even though they was like superheroes to us, when you look, they was going state to state, breaking the laws and all that. You know what I'm saying? They was outlaws for real. Pac was an outlaw for real. So they probably wasn't really pressed about it at the time. But again, I think if I can remember correctly, I saw a clip where the guy said, basically, I'm gonna tell on everybody if they come get me, and they went and got him.
The only reason this went unsolved so long to me was because it benefited so many people in so many different ways. And just like any other organization who has invested a significant amount of time and finances into something, this was an investment that I truly believe they did not want to relinquish. I think it goes beyond just this idea that it was supposed to be East Coast versus West Coast. I don't think it had anything to do with that specifically at all. In all actuality, like you just alluded to, these guys was in traffic. Like, it's not like there was absolutely nobody else that could have been a witness to any of this. You guys had all the resources, all the personnel required to personally execute this whole scenario without there being any real ramifications or pushback that would get you caught up because you had the money and you have the staff to really just keep it all under wraps for as long as you possibly could. As long as everybody was eating, you're going to be all right. But that brings me to my first question. How do you feel about Hollywood and celebrity cover-ups in general?
Yeah, I think it's a money thing too. Kind of like if you got some money, a lot of times you can get away with a lot of stuff. The Hollywood stuff, I think, as a black man, another part of that is that Diddy wanted to buy the channel. R. Kelly wanted to buy their own channels and start, like something like CBS. He made $1 billion. He went at the liquor company that he was representing and told them that he didn't need them no more. And had they been able to buy their channels, then they would be able to control a lot of the programming that we see, right? And between that, you know what happens when a black person tries to do something like that, automatic. And then also when those guys back to getting free, you look at Whitney Houston was finna get free. Michael Jackson was finna do the tour and get free. Prince got control of his masters. Bill Cosby started going at the trying to buy his own station. Like all of these guys, all of a sudden just go missing. They just end up dying out the blue. And Chef said it because he said, old Clive Davis, who was Diddy's handler for all of these years, they said that he had beat a bunch of charges. So the cover-ups are definitely real, but I think it's more of a resource thing. A lot of times those people have the resources, and once you have the resources, you can make anything smoke and mirrors. You can make anything an illusion and pretty much get away with it.
Yeah, I can. One, just from a psychological standpoint, I understand why they exist. There's a psychology behind conspiracy theories and believing things that may or may not be true, just based on like emotions and stuff like that. But there are certain conspiracies that I've read before that did pique my interest. Truthfully, I can't remember any specific conspiracy theories off the top of my head. I know there was one with I'm really terrible with celebrities and their names. There was a female celebrity that like had a cult type of situation going on, and I know like all the stuff with Tom Cruise and the Illuminati and all that stuff. What's wrong? It's, I don't know. I think it's interesting because of what people come up with, but then certain things happen later on in time that will go upstairs. Go upstairs now. 3-year-old. Go on. Go. I'm sorry. When things happen in the future, after I hear that, it connects back to those conspiracies, and I see these connections, and I'm like, oh, the stuff that people talked about are coming true, or at least they seem similar. They seem connected. I'm gonna deal with her for a second. I'm sorry.
To be honest with you, the whole celebrity, Hollywood, music industry, cover-up stuff, it all comes back to money. It does. I think a large majority of it does. There's a a video that I did. This had to be last year, late last year. It was on an artist, and she was signed to like this backyard record label, and they basically strong armed her and threatened to, unalive her if she said, they were doing bad business and this, that, and the third. They weren't paying her the way that she wanted to be paid. And this was her way of saying, look, if something happens to me, it wasn't a self-deletion. These people had something to do with it. And it just made me think, like, if every time you go into that world, you build a brand, not just a regular one where you get so popular to that point where you can actually break away from them and start to do on your own without them. I don't think a lot of them like that. Or they just think that you're going to be stupid, not understand what the small letters say on the contracts. You can't get finessed by them, and they want to take it left and try to bully you into doing things that you don't want to do. Something's always just felt wrong about working with them type of people. You know what I'm saying? Pac was one of them guys where he could have definitely stepped away from all of them people. I don't know what his financial situation was before he passed, because a few people have said like he was actually broke or struggling financially. I don't know how true or false that is, but his name was big enough to where he could have left all that and did his own thing. But there's always been like this dark shadow that hovered around anything attached to that type of media.
One thing that I was trying to say before was people love conspiracy theories. The conspiracy theories have been around since humans have been around. It's very common for us to come up with stories that are intriguing, and we like to ponder the improbable or impossible and float different theories about events. It's like our way of making sense of things that don't make sense to us, filling in the blanks. And so I understand why we come up with these conspiracy theories. And I think another thing that contributes to the draw to conspiracy theories is the fact that celebrities are so secretive, or at least some of them are. Like, a lot of them live in exclusive communities. They don't really interact with the public because they're shopping at their own like bougie stores and stuff that none of us could even hope to afford a bottled water at. And they also, like, the was it the Met Gala, where nobody's allowed in there except the celebrities that are invited, and they don't take pictures besides their outfits. No. Go back upstairs. So celebrities are so removed from normal society that we can't help but make conspiracy theories about them because they aren't around. We only see glimpses of them in movies and interviews and stuff like that, but otherwise they keep themselves home. And so it allows us to kind of run wild with our stories. But I think when there's celebrity related like crimes, it like hypes everyone up, because I think, one, it's fascinating to see when people are like, when wealthy, well-to-do, I have everything anyone could ever want, type of people end up committing crimes like that. And it reinforces the idea that like the rich people are secretly the ruling class, because all of these people, like, that is one conspiracy that I 1,000% buy into, is that a lot of high powered celebrities, companies, and government officials are all working together to kind of take over the system so they can have what they want and then just take everything from everyone else. That way they can maximize the resources and luxuries that they're able to afford for themselves. Who cares about everyone else? And so I definitely think that there are one, networks that we don't know about yet of criminal behavior. I won't list it, but we all know what kind of criminal behaviors. Um, I also think that there are celebrities that are involved in like secret societies that none of us will ever hear about, at least not until like these generations have passed. But yeah, it would be interesting to see, cause to me at least, because I don't follow this stuff, it came out of nowhere. I was like, wait, really? They finally, like, I wouldn't have expected it was somebody who was alive today, because to me that felt like a really long time ago. So to hear such a notorious murder was done by someone who's notorious and in the news right now is pretty crazy. So it was definitely a shock when I heard it. This was the first time I've heard it, so yeah.
Nah, the streets knew. We followed them though. We was fans. For a second, I was Diddy #1 fan for a long time. But it always felt weird to me though, how he rushed into the spotlight after Big got killed. That was always weird to me. And then it was always weird to me how his artist was ending up on broke and sick, disappearing, young. That was weird. And then it was weird to me that Pac was unhappy, and then at the end of the day he was broke. Well, so they say. Whatever. Their broke was not my broke, but at the same time, that was weird. But speaking of the levels, it seems like every time one of those guys hits a level of success, especially the people of color, all hell breaks loose. Every time you look at the people, Meg Thee Stallion blew up, trouble. Cardi blew up, trouble. Young Thug blew up, trouble. You know what I'm saying? They got Dirt, Lil Durk, trouble. You name it. It seems like the higher they go. Even I remember Jennifer Hudson. She hit peak status and then lost like her brothers. I don't know necessarily about the sacrifice. I know life keeps lifing, but it just seems always coincidental that as soon as they hit some kind of status, that all the bad stuff just starts crashing down. Maybe because they be on watch with the eye of an eagle, or like I said, life just happens. But it's always funny. And then definitely I got the conspiracy, because when you look at all of those artists, like I said, Whitney Houston, had she owned her catalog, she would have been a billionaire. Michael Jackson owned Sony and the Beatles catalog. He would have been a billionaire had he did that tour. They said he was 500 million in debt. You know he would have cleared that. His movie just made $1 billion, and he's been gone for a long time. So all of a sudden, like you said, when you get to that freedom, and I feel like what it is, it's like, yo, you made me $100-200 million. Why would I let you go? That would be like, why would you want to go? You look at and I'm saying as a fan, I'm talking. This is just what I know from watching TV. You even look at Lil Wayne when he wanted to separate from Cash Money, he had to sue his company, his father, what they call him, for all these years, to find out that all this money went missing. Angie Stone, right? D'Angelo, he might have been sick for real. And I'm just calling in, but it just seems like even DMX got out of his debt and was about to drop a whole new album. You're talking about, and if I'm not mistaken, it was going to be independent. You couldn't take his money no more. All of a sudden, like that's wild to me, and it just keeps happening over and over again. And so when we was kids, we knew it wasn't something. We knew something wasn't right about Diddy. We knew something wasn't right about Suge Knight them, and to us it was normal. It was normal. It was like, oh, that's just the way it goes. And we used to have those conversations. What would you do if you was in those spots? And we'll do this and that, but you never know unless you're in that. And I have that fear to hit those levels, and then all of a sudden I start going backwards. It's upsetting because in our culture, you can't just win and be at peace. And we know there's a 12-point plan against that, but it's sickening because there's not really one person that you could say from our culture that just won and went home with it without all the trouble, all the drama. They might have escaped through it, but if you look at certain periods of their life, they went through it bad. And I don't think that's a coincidence.
It's absolutely impossible to have a gift, singing, rapping, acting, have somebody reach out to you. Doesn't matter how they reach out to you. They put fame, fortune, success in front of your face. They tell you, look, here's 2 doors. Go through this one, you get this. Go through that one, you get that. And I never thought to myself, there's a but behind all this. There's always a but behind these type of propositions. Could never really put my finger on it when I was a kid, but like I always just would see a lot of, all right, you driving the cars, you in the commercials, you're doing features. You got people driving around to your music. But I also saw the other side of it. Just like, all right, well, damn. You're arguing with this person. Y'all angry, you're fighting, you're going to war. It's not even like the type of stuff that you would practically support in the type of ways of this is just fair and friendly competition. Nah, this is a little more complex than that, and it's always stemming around something negative: violence, drugs, sex. It's like 3 or 4 categories within that realm of music that you see people always involved in, and it's like, all right, Pac was more than just a rapper. He was a poet. You can't frame him for just speaking in a certain pattern of bars and call it what you want. I always felt like he was a lyricist, but the industry would have you pushing a certain type of content out here to the general public for a specific reason. We all know why. I mean, as much as I enjoy Pimp C, Bun B, and all that stuff like that, but I understand that this is not the music that we really should be consuming. But the industry know this is where their will pretty much gets them to reap all of their benefits. Long story short, what I'm getting at is it always worried me, just like you, bro. What happens if I get the call? We want you to sign with us for 3 years, for 5 years. This is your chance. We're going to push your content. Sydney, we're going to push your books to the moon. We're going to sit you down with your favorite authors, and you're going to get to have these. But there's always like that, them 3 dots that follow up behind it. Dot, 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 dot. I always thought 112. Danity Kane, Old Dirty Bastard, Black Rob. Oh, we can go down the list. Anybody, it was like everybody who had anything to do with Sean Combs, man, it just didn't go nowhere. And for some reason, I think I'm a land plane here. I don't know, bro. That's just nasty work. Nasty work. I think people would be better off going independent. But I digress. I do have a follow-up question that I wanted to present. Let me see how I can do this. What if he's convicted? Does it change the way we see the judicial system?
I don't think it would really change how I don't think it would change. Oh my goodness. Every time. I don't think it would change how I see the system, because I still see the system in kind of in 2 directions, where I know the system's corrupt. There's a lot of different parts of our government that are not doing what they're supposed to. They can be bought out. They're bought and sold. And so I know there's that side of things, but I do also think that we are in certain areas improving, because we have a lot more students that are coming in to law professions, younger people that are aging into the law system that grew up with the socio-emotional kind of stuff from the 90s and 2000s, where we learned how to cooperate and how to, like, they taught more like morals and value type of stuff, I think, in the 90s. And so they're coming in more socially conscious, more understanding and open to communities that were previously marginalized, or at least are marginalized by older generations. So I think we're having an improvement there. But I don't know. I don't think it would really change my opinion of the system, because I mean, there's clearly a lot wrong with the system. There's clearly a need to change how the system goes, the people that are in power, the laws that are in place. But I don't think one trial is very indicative of the whole system, though it could still be kind of a drop in the pool, if you will.
No, I don't think. I think we going backwards. I think we went about 50 years backwards. They rezoned the voting lines. They got away with the legal votes, the machines. That guy is still in office. The people out, MAGA is walking with with masks on again, and people getting hung. They still unaliving our people. Police still shooting people. The schools, especially for our people, are struggling. Now that 12-point plan, it never stopped. it got a little subliminal under Obama, but we know what it was because even Obama got on TV and said that he could not do anything for people of color. Really, he hoped that his policies would trickle down, but he said it on 60 Minutes. So when you're talking about Pop, Pop, his character was God level in the sense to where he was almost as famous as Jesus, and he could influence people to do anything, and then he gave people hope, right? And then he also influenced people to challenge the system. So it's no question that that if nothing else, the government wanted him out of here because once he was going at them, he exposed everything. And then even to the point where they said he shot it out with some cops for harassing a person. So no, it doesn't change. The only time things would change is if they treat everybody equal. Because like for Clive Davis, they said that he had avoided a bunch of federal charges. They let Epstein go a bunch of times for the same thing. The Weinstein guy had been doing that for over 30 years. The guy from Abercrombie and Fitch. They found out the people from the Boy Scouts or whatever. So this stuff, what happens is it's a lopsided attack, and it makes it they make it look Chef crazy. They make it look like there's only one culture doing this kind of stuff. And then when you look at the stuff that they promote and what sells, I feel bad for a lot of the people. I feel bad. I'm thinking about new artists like Pooh Shiesty. You know, not to glorify nothing or whatever, but he pretty much got like the #1 album out in the world right now, and he's facing life. The things that the industry pushes for us is not right, because even the rock stars, I heard they fought, they brawled, the rock stars would fight backstage and get sauce and go crazy, but they wasn't shooting and stabbing and killing each other. It wasn't no, you know, a lot of times if you had to work to be the best band, you know what I'm saying? If you wanted to be the best, you had to work to be the best man. But in our culture, automatically, as soon as you come #1, you become a target. And at the end of the day, if you're going at the government, remember J. Edgar Hoover said the biggest threat to the flag is Black unity. And you look at even the Black Panthers, how they were taken out illegally and they did not break the law. In our generation, Tupac was the closest person that we had to the Black Panthers, and it was a must that they get them out of here. So that's how I could see that stuff going for so long, because at the end of the day, to the police, he probably did them a favor. Yes, being a rapper is now the most dangerous job, and it's like I said, it's upsetting because at the end of the day, it's just music. Like the good thing that we had when we was kids, as much as we wanted to be like them, I knew that Tupac was never gonna pay my bills. I knew that Big was never gonna pay my bills. He wasn't gonna never come put food in my fridge. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, I had to get out and get it. But now we got all this social media and all that to where the kids feel like that's the only way. And I felt like that too. But at the same time, I knew that if that tape, that CD player wasn't gonna feed me, so I had to go get something to eat. So, but now the kids feel like this is that is it. It doesn't even matter, and then this is what's forced on them, and this is what the record companies promote. That's just what it promotes, and for so long it's been normal. And then now they even stopped the other side, because we had the conscious rappers, we had a ton of them, we still got them, but they only promote 1 or 2. You know what I mean? As far as consciousness, but everybody else is doing the same thing, and it sells. And I ain't mad at them because people got to eat. And then when you look at the other cultures, we promote the Italian mob culture all day. The Godfather, Casino, they promote it. When you listen to the rock, where they talk, they be they be talking about all types of crazy stuff, making all types of money. And then also country music is just as wild if you really listen to what they say in country music. But at the same time, they don't run around trying to kill each other. That's only promoted for us.
Perfect segue between you and Sydney's question, because that's exactly what I was about to get into. How serious should we take lyrics in music, film, and content? And like it goes deeper than, oh, I remember the words verbatim so I can recite it anywhere I go. It's the intrinsic value or lack thereof that it has. The power of the tongue can give life and death. And to your point, when they put Sexy Red's music out, you know they're targeting a specific audience. 21 Savage, NBA Youngboy, etc., etc. They're targeting a specific group of people for specific reasons because they know what comes with the lyrics. Most people just brush it off. Oh, they're just rapping. They're just crafting words and putting them together to go with a harmonious beat that will play nicely in their vehicle. It's more sinister than just that. It makes people violent. It makes people antisocial. It makes people overly sexual. It makes people question their life decisions. It does a lot of life altering things. To Chef's point, there's definitely power within lyrics. Did it have anything to do with the fate that Biggie, Smalls, and Pac endured and faced? I don't know how much of it, if I had to give a percentage, I don't know, 60-40, maybe less, maybe more. But if you're rapping about shooting and killing, and it don't matter if you're sprinkling in positive messages, you're still kind of straddling the fence with what side you stand on. Because are you promoting good, or are you trying to eat off of both genres? That was ultimately my next question. How serious should we take the lyrics, the music? As much as we enjoy being entertained by it, it does play a huge role. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I've definitely been influenced by music, though, a lot. TV, you name it. It just all depends on like your frequency, like he just said. But I throw the question back at y'all.
I think it's entertainment. We gotta get back to teaching kids it's entertainment. When you look, Superman is a criminal. They knocking whole buildings down. They don't say nothing about the innocent bystanders. Batman is a criminal. Wolverine was a criminal. The old Wolverine used to kill people. The old Batman used to kill people. They don't say nothing about that. We watch that every day. Spider-Man is a criminal, right? They hurt innocent bystanders to do in the name of fighting crime or whatever, to get these bad guys off the street. A lot of people get hurt. They don't, you know what I'm saying? So we got to get back to where it's a story. They're telling a story. The old rap, you got to remember why the rap started. To the Message and Sugar Hill Gang and them, they were telling the story of what was really happening. NWA was telling a story of what was really happening. And even though there was a negative, there was a positive message in it that that you can overcome. That there's a lot of things going on, and this needed to be known. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you want to tell a story. They're not gonna stop making Freddy Krueger. They ain't stopped making Jason movies. They probably gonna put out. They ain't stopped Michael Myers. Then at the end of the day, they put out movies about John Wayne Gacy. And like I said, you go down your channel list right now. Snapped, the Deadly Neighbor Next Door, 48 Hours. You know what I'm saying? They glorify all this stuff, and we gotta let our people know it's just entertainment. That's it. Is there? You know what? You can listen to that while you're studying for your law exam. You could listen to that while you're studying to be a heart surgeon. Everybody don't have to go in that direction. And I think that's where they're hurting us at, because they made it so lopsided, the media, whoever is controlling the media, that it looked like there's only one way. You got people like Rhapsody. You got people like, I remember Bahamadia was killing it. One of the best ever. They never put her in the mainstream. You got so many people that talk about positivity, but they never get the spotlight. You know what I mean? And so we know this, and for a fact, we know that anybody that challenges the culture, the status quo, mostly gets disappeared. They do it, either they make you look crazy, or they say you're on drugs. Like even Kanye, to a certain extent, his genius, you know, to his genius, at the end of the day, whichever way, I may not like what he said, but look what happened to him once he went at the establishment. That was it for him. And I'll leave it at that.
From a scientific, the reason I asked the question initially was because I was thinking about it. My husband really likes Juice World, and I know that he died from an overdose, and he also had a history of drug usage. And a lot of his music features self-harm, mental health struggles, drug use, depression, talking about suicide. And I think, if I remember correctly, my husband told me that he put a song out about suicide shortly before his death. So some people speculated that he actually took his life rather than accidentally overdosed. Speaking of conspiracy theories. So I was wondering, like, which way does it go? Or likely it's probably both ways, but it's like, do people make this music like, how much does it contribute to the cycle? And based on science, they have found that there is actually a connection between the two. Listening to rap music was significantly and positively associated with alcohol use, problematic alcohol use, illicit drug use, and aggressive behaviors. But I also wondered, is that because that's what people want in the music? Like, do people have these tendencies because of the society that we set up, that people are stressed out, people are angry, people are not socialized very well, they're relying on drugs, they're relying on alcohol to cope with the system that we've set up. And so it's making people make this music about what they're going through, but the origins of the mental illness or mental struggles isn't the music itself. It's just people gravitate towards that music because they identify with it. So I thought that's kind of an interesting dynamic, where it maybe the music is actually helping people cope because it's featuring things that people struggle with. Because I know for a fact, for myself, when I was depressed, I would listen to music that was more sad and stuff like that, but it wasn't because I was watching it and the music made me sad. I was sad already and I wanted to watch something that resonated with my feelings. Um, so that's kind of what triggered that question, because I was like, I wonder where other people kind of see that, because obviously everyone's response to music is different. I can see how being introduced to certain drugs and stuff through music, particularly with younger generations, could lead to substance use. But I definitely think that it's more so people who gravitate towards those topics listen to that type of music, and they kind of, the researchers might have it backwards, where it's like people who are more likely to, people who listen to this music are just more, are already struggling with those problems, and not the other way around. Um, Another thing too, um, with rappers in particular, there's such a negative stigma in culture about it, where people just like expect that it's going to have, like, it's going to be about being rude to women or like being a terrible person and committed, like, there's rap that is not about that, but a lot of people think that it's this negative, like you're just talking about the dark side of life and stuff like that. um Even though there's a lot that you can kind of learn from it, and they do have messages in there about like survival and breaking through and pushing past these issues. But it it also, besides like that individualized response, it also has like a cultural response as well. Like people rally around these celebrities, and we connect with celebrities. We create parasocial relationships where we feel for them, and so, like, if you resonate with a specific person, you're going to care about like what happens to them. You're going to care about the life that they're living, the struggles that they're going through. And so I think that contributes to why we care so much when one does die, especially in like suspicious circumstances, as in the case of like Tupac, because we've formed these connections with them. We've seen what they go through. We see their relationships with other people. And when they do have those, when they unfortunately are like killed or in those weird situations, we automatically, like, because we care about them, we have to put it together. We have to figure out where all the pieces fit, who could have done this. And it's in the same way, it's a form of grief. It's how people are able to cope with what they're seeing. And even if you don't have like a direct connection with the celebrity in the sense of like you love their music, you go to their concerts, even people that don't particularly care about the celebrity are still drawn to these deaths, because one, it's a reminder of our mortality, like experiencing these deaths, seeing these young people or older people passing away, like it really makes us kind of consider the reality of life. And as I said, like we have to put the pieces together. We want to figure out like what happened and make sense of this event that we're emotionally triggered by, however strong that emotional response is. So yeah, I think overall, based on that question, I really do think music has an impact on us and it can affect our behaviors. But I don't think it's directly responsible for people's choices. I don't think that if you listen to rap, you're automatically going to start smoking the next day and you're going to start going out and buy like that's not how it works. But there's definitely people that think that it works that way.
Right. Real quick, yeah, because you know you're gonna get that influence in the hood if your parents are not, or if you see your parents doing it, you're gonna get that from the OG somewhere. But if you look at the rock stars, especially like in the 70s and 80s, that's what they talked about. And then look at the ones who OD'd. and look at their music. They made whole albums about unaliving themselves. They made whole albums about their drug addiction. They just put it in code, and they sold millions of dollars, and the people love and adore them. But then when our people do it, all of a sudden we not right, da 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 da. And at the end of the day, that is a 12-point plan. We know, because it's always been like that. It's always been like that for the artists. And even to the point where I saw Lizzo talking about the sampling laws. Elvis took Hound Dog from the girl. He was not the first one to sing Hound Dog. The Beatles was taking Jimi Hendrix music. They was taking a lot of the people's music and redoing it, and nobody could sue them or nothing. And then all of a sudden now, when we going back and we taking our music back, now even that's a problem. You can't even get a clearance for the sample, or if you make some money off the song, they're trying to get you in sample court automatic. So we know at the end of the day, even for Bob Marley, who was from Jamaica, we know how much he was hated, and he was another one that he made that music that you feel.
Whatever happens with this case, I don't think it's going to change the way the justice system has been moving. I do think there's a specific reason why it took this long. I wish they would have the same energy towards everybody else who has been out here trafficking kids and all that. There's a lot of folks that y'all could be locking up right now, and the people will be grateful for. My reason for the question was just merely to put it in the minds of what are we really consuming? Is it really good for us as much as we like to believe it is? I'm definitely one of them folks that play certain things to alter my mood. If I want to go clean, I turn this on. If I want to get some stuff off of my brain, I turn that on. I'm definitely one of them people. As far as all of this, it don't matter if he go down or whoever's guilty goes down for it now or later. They're all going to have to pay for it regardless, on this earth or afterwards. So it really doesn't make a difference. It would be nice to get some closure. I really have a pet peeve about cold cases, like the ones that be 10, 20, 30 years old. They just put them on the shelf and they forget about them all together. I have a real pet peeve about those. But that's a whole nother conversation in itself. I believe his mother passed. Not too sure how many of his family members are left, but Diddy, he's done a lot of dirt. And I don't know if he's guilty of this or not, but if the brother Keefy D say he's responsible for it, why did you go and take the fall and not bring everybody else with you? Like, I'm not about to, I don't know. I'm gonna shut up. Shout out to Chef. I think everybody in the industry has seen something and know more than what they say, but they won't speak on it. Period. But that's pretty much it. I wish justice served. Diddy, you tried, and you've been trying. Because every time I turned on the screen, it was pushing your release date up a month at a time. And I don't know, it's looking shaky for you, sir. And you did a lot of people dirty, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is their way of sticking it to you. You can't buy your way out of this one. Shout out to Sid, shout out to Rob. Salutes to everybody who pulled up this evening. We about to get up out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Do me a solid before you go, if you don't mind.
What's the goddamn button?
We out.
Have a good night, guys. See you Wednesday. Bye, Chef.
The flow insane. Take my spot, so the range. Shoot my shot with perfect aim. 3rd degree, that perfect flame. Ain't no sleep, that's the game. Oh, so southern, that's the slang. When they see me, that's the main. Chasing checks and fly like planes. Big old stick, I bought a cane. Flick my wrist and bought the ring. I'm so boss, we're not the same. Paid the cost and kept the change. Now I'm walking Hall of Fame. And I reside in the cloud. Grand wishes with these bitches. Taking pictures.